Hey Scott, um, do you see me live on Facebook now? Okay, I think now it's live.
Okay, let me just see here. Yes.
Okay.
So I'm going
Hey.
to mute my computer. The speakers, there's no feedback there.
Mhm.
And then I just...
Yes. Hey everyone. Sorry, I know there is a lot of technical disturbances here. I was trying to add Scott, who is a mortgage broker and proud owner of a Lens City Mortgage, also a owner of a Canadian real estate network and investor from last 10 years. So I would like him to join on the call. Unfortunately, the Facebook doesn't allow me to add another person. So I have him on the phone. He can answer questions and he will be talking. So we will be sharing the market updates. Just stay tuned with us, bear with us on this technology side. Hey Scott, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clear. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Hey everyone, can you guys hear Scott? Please let me know in the comment below so I know if you guys can hear. Hey Sophia. Hey Perth. Hey Clark. How are you guys? Can you guys hear Scott?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. Perfect. Perfect. Awesome. Welcome, Scott. Thank you for your time. Actually.
Yes, no problem. I'm glad we figured it out.
Yeah. Perfect. Guys, have your questions ready for Scott. In the meanwhile, I'll go over basic market updates right now, and then Scott can jump in and give us all the nuggets. Awesome. Hey, Clark. Awesome, awesome. Thank you, guys. So, it was actually surprising to see the stats because there is a lot of uncertainty going on in the market. But even though still the real estate market holds strong, I was surprised to see because the numbers. So basically, I was looking at the total number of sales happened in March of 2020 and March 2019. It's surprised to see they're pretty much same. In 2019, the number of sales were 429, and again 2020 is 427. So it's interesting to see that number because again it could be the sales that pretty much tied up from February. They could be closed in March. And also I was looking at the average sale price. Surprisingly, there is 6.2% drop comparative to last month. So the last month average price was 309 in February, and the March average sale price was 290,000. So there is a drop of 6.2 something in the price average property prices. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen in April. Again, the number of corona cases in Canada still increasing day by day. I was looking at a graph on Google. So currently we have new cases like today alone is 2018. So which is a lot higher. Like every day the cases are going up, and it's curious. I'm curious to see what's going to happen in the market in real estate. But right now there is a drop, but not significant. Again, I would definitely take on Scott. What's your take on that?
Yeah, no, I think the market is definitely I feel like it's a bit slower, but I feel like there's still a lot of demand, and I think when the COVID-19 stuff ends, I feel like there's just going to be a burst of buyers that are out there, because I know on my end I'm seeing people that are ready to buy, but nobody's buying. I can't say nobody's buying, less people are buying.
Yeah, I was actually making an offer yesterday. There were like 8 offers on this property.
Yeah, it's still definitely going, but I think people are being cautious and they're wanting to see what's going to happen with everything, and it's slower for sure.
Yeah. And especially these are the times where we need to be aware of what are the options that are available for us. So one of the options that for many investors or many employees who got affected due to Corona, right now Canada is providing emergency fund. Like if you personally got affected by COVID, if you have lost your job, or if you are a self-employed, if your income stopped coming in, then Canadian emergency response benefit is something that you can look into it. There are basic eligibilities that you need to be resident in Canada. You have to be at least 15 years old, and you should have worked in 2019. You should have earned at least 5,000. You will be qualified for $2,000 for every 4 weeks. So which is a good amount, especially if you got affected. So knock the wood, you have your job, knock the wood, you're making money. But just in case if it affected you, you can look into this program. And if you guys have any questions regarding to anything what's going on right now, leave in the comments below. We will be answering at the end. And there are other programs for self-employed and business. Probably I would let Scott jump on that because he is an expert who deals with that a lot more than me.
For sure. So I've just copied and pasted a link which has all the benefits that Canada is providing for individuals and families, as well as people who are self-employed. So I know for people that are self-employed, there is a $40,000 loan, and the government, they just lowered the criteria for that. So you needed to make or pay out, you need to pay out at least $50,000 of wages last year to qualify for this $40,000 loan. Now you've only needed to pay out $20,000. So they just this week lowered that criteria. So with this loan, it's interest-free for a couple of years. $10,000 is forgivable if you pay the whole balance in full before the regular due date. So it's a really cool loan. And then something that I'm looking at, starting on the 26th, the employee wage subsidy starting. So if you do pay salaries, the government will pay up to 75% of the salaries, up to a certain limit as well, retroactive in the middle of March. So there's lots of different benefits. But if you check out that link, it'll show you everything for everybody, and then kind of see what is the most applicable to you, and apply for whatever benefits you can receive.
Yeah, that's actually very good program, especially for small businesses and the self-employed people like us who got affected by this COVID.
For sure.
What are the mortgage options? What's going on with the mortgages? What do you think an investor should be doing in these situations like now?
Well, so this is something we kind of chatted about briefly last week, but right now investors and homeowners are able to defer their mortgage payments by up to 6 months. Now what happens is the interest builds up, and they add it to the principal of your mortgage, so you do end up paying it back, and you do pay interest on the interest. But for investors, we're not certain if the tenants are going to be able to pay the rent or not. So in the event that they're not, you're protecting yourself by deferring the mortgage. Now, if your tenants end up paying the rent, you actually have an option before the lender adds this interest to your principal to pay it over those 6 months, like the accrued interest. They let you pay it up front as well. So if your tenants do pay, you're good. But I do suggest deferring just in case, unless you have a large emergency fund, right, and you can carry yourself through it. But otherwise, yeah, I would totally defer. You can use the funds. Even if the tenants are paying rent, you can use the funds for other investments.
Yeah.
And obviously for an investor, the interest is tax deductible. So.
Yeah, so that's definitely a pretty cool option and I'm actually going for it because, as you said, it's really helps us float through this uncertain situation, because even if the tenants are paying now, as you said, like it's great just to have that additional, saved up money for a rainy day.
For sure.
Yeah. And what's going on with the time periods with this mortgage? Because right now I have some buyers who are making offers, but they're asking me what would be the best timeline. Like how many days do I need to get the approvals, or if I want to do a refinance, how many days does it take to get the refinance done?
Yeah, so to get a response from the lender, it's going to be between 3 to 10 days, depending on the lender. So I'm finding the big banks have a bit of a faster response, but if it's an alternative lender or credit unions, different things like that, I'm finding it's taking longer to get a response from them. And, I inquired why, and they said, you know what, our main focus is our current and existing customers, and we're trying to help them with everything that we can do. And then our second goal is to acquire new ones. So that's when I think you're going to see a slower response rate, because they're trying to service their existing clients and members first. I'm thinking honestly, expect 3 to 10 days before you get a response from the lender. And then as far as the closing dates, the regular closings, like if you do a 30-day closing, it should be pretty smooth with the timing. We do have to work on getting an appraisal in certain scenarios. And they're coming creative, like sometimes they're doing drive-by, sometimes they're doing FaceTime with the seller to go through the property, right? So they're doing different things to make it happen. But yeah, the standard 30-day closing like that, okay.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good thing. Now, even they're not looking at the property thoroughly, so that means getting your appraisal values or compared to looking at the property in person.
There you go.
Yeah, it works either ways. But did you see any effect in the appraisal values coming in from the appraisers? Is there?
Not yet, but I foresee that there will be. And it's hard to predict, because they want to cover, they want to protect themselves as well. So they're not gonna, this isn't a stretch. They're not gonna stretch anymore. They're gonna give a value. So I can see it affecting values. And I think when data starts to come in at how the market is truly affected, I think you're going to start to see the appraisal values come down.
Yep. We have a question from Perth. If the property is having tenants, can we take first-time homebuyer advantage? Do we need to have money in our SPs? Probably. I think you can look at the comments, Scott.
Yes, I have it open. Mm-hmm. So if you're buying a property that's currently tenant occupied and it's supposed to be for you to move into, the insurance company or the lender is more than likely going to want you to get vacant possession. So you're going to have to work on getting that. And then the home buyer advantage. So yes, you can redeem from your RSP if you want to, but you don't have to.
Yeah, and actually, that's a really good question, because now the situation is you cannot evict the tenants. So if the property have a tenant and if you want to move in, have you came across that kind of situation at all?
Yeah, it was just something that the sellers negotiated with the tenants. Like, we need to sell this, can look and find somewhere to go. But otherwise, it's a tricky situation right now.
Yeah. I think so. Regarding using the RSPs, is that something could affect it, or we can use the RSPs anyways, right? For first-time homebuyer.
Yeah, you can, and you could have at any time used the RSPs for the home buying advantage to use them. I believe it's up to $25,000 you can use for your down payment. Mm-hmm. So that is still there. But you can use your RSPs, just so you know, Perth, you can still use them if you have not put the home within 5 years. So if you've done this and utilized your RSPs for your down payment, if you bought the home 5 years later, you could use that program again, actually.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's good to know. And another question from Philips. This is something interesting. Even I don't know actually. If we have rental income. So do you have personal income, Philips? Like where you used to make personal income, and is your personal income stopped? And Scott, what's your take on that? I don't know what that situation would be.
Yeah, so I don't think any of us here can actually give the answer to that. I am looking on the Canada website here, and it says to qualify, it's available for workers who meet the following conditions. So it doesn't speak about if you have rental income or not, but it's stating it's available to workers who live in Canada and are at least 15 years old. You stopped working because of COVID-19 and are eligible for EI or regular sick pay. You have not voluntarily quit your job, and you made at least $5,000 in 2019 for income. It doesn't speak about rental income at all there. So I'm going to assume from their criteria on their website that you can still get this even if you have a rental income, because their wording is about having a job. But this is something that we probably can't answer for you. You'd have to contact the government someday.
Yeah, actually, so Philip says that his wife lost her job. So that means definitely she would qualify for it if she lost because of the COVID.
That's right.
Yep. And Perth, yes, you understand it correct. So especially if you're buying it as a first-time home buyer, if you want to take advantage of RRSP's 5% down, definitely the insurer want to see that property is vacant. You have to put that in the offer. They have to verify that. And just you're suggesting that investors still defer their mortgage payments even if their tenants are paying. Yes, 100%. That's what Scott is suggesting, because, and I personally also suggest the same thing, because even if your tenants are paying, defer your mortgage payments for 6 months, and after 6 months, thank God, if everything goes well, if the tenants pay you the rent and you have the money sitting in your account, you can pay back the deferred payments after 6 months, or whenever you feel like you're safe to pay back within your term. I think you don't have to pay any interest over interest. Is that correct, Scott?
Yes, like you have to pay the interest that you would have normally paid, but nothing more than that. But the reason that I do suggest that, and it's my own opinion, right? So everybody has their own. Well, my thought is that yes, all my tenants, they paid actually. I did not have an issue. But what if they have an issue next month? Like, I don't know what's happening for me. I don't know what's happening for June for me. Because as this progresses, if the employers have to end up closing because there's no business, that could affect even more jobs as time goes on. So my thing is to think proactively and to just do it and bank the funds off to the side. And if they're not paying the rent, then I have that emergency fund. Then if they do, then I pay the interest. So that's my thought on that. Now David is asking, do we think banks will ask for more than 20% down payment on rentals going forward? So, David, some of the lenders have lowered their loan values that they do, and they're at 75% loan value, but not all of them. So I think right now we're facing a liquidity issue in the market, which should be reduced because the Bank of Canada announced that they're going to fund the bank in a huge way. So I think that liquidity concern is going away. But some of them are being tighter and increasing the down payment needed. But I think the standard is 20. So I do think that you're going to see a bunch of lenders still at 20, and you're going to see some lenders that are at higher than 20. So it just depends on the size of your portfolio and if you can access the lenders that have 20% down or higher.
And actually, another question from my side for you, Scott. For student rentals, are there any lenders still doing 20% down?
There is and there's not. So remember in the beginning when I was mentioning that some of the lenders, their focus is to help their existing client base and their existing members. With that being said, the student rentals is the absolute back burner. It's the least attractive property they want to find right now. So what they're telling us is to hold off on the applications until they figure out what's going on, or until it slows down with their responses from their existing clients. So they're still doing 20% down on the student rentals, but now they're telling us to hold those applications.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and this is not every lender, right? This is the lenders that are offering 20. We still have a whole bunch that'll do 25% down and higher, of course, that we could submit to today. But the lenders that do the 20% down, they're actually on hold for the student properties right now.
Makes sense. And actually, another common question that I want to answer for audience here. Many of them been asking me, what do you think about the market? Is it a good time to buy now or wait for another few weeks or months? That's, I want to give my opinion, Scott, and I want to, take yours as well. Here's what I feel right now. It's like so uncertain. No one knows what's happening. So basically, based on the COVID cases that we are seeing in Canada, still they're planning to extend the lockdown for another few weeks. And also the COVID cases going up, which means the chances for extending the lockdown is for longer period are high, and which in turn will definitely going forward in next few weeks, you will get prices going down for sure. But again, it's assuming that the lockdown continues to happen. But definitely there is a drop now. So again, if you want to buy now, definitely it's a good time. And if you want to wait, and waiting is unsure, yes, it could go in a positive way that you can buy for better prices. But if the COVID, turns back, and if the government come up with a solution and now people start to work back again, and obviously the prices can rebound very quickly because market is still holding stronger. That's what my opinion is. So it's always good to look, and if you find something that meets your criteria, definitely go for it. If you want to wait for perfect time, I don't know if there is a perfect timing. So that's my opinion, and I definitely love to hear your opinion, Scott, on that.
Yeah, so I'm actually seeing lots of clients that are investors, right? I'm mainly speaking about investors here, that are really excited to be buying right now, because their thought and their mental mindset about this is that the investors that are selling right now are more than likely trying to get out of the market. Now, that might not always be true in every scenario. It could have been an investor that was going to naturally sell anyways. But those investors are finding they're getting some really, really good deals. So I think if you were to buy a home from a regular family, I don't think you would get a great deal. But I think if you were to buy a house from an investor, they're trying to exit. This is their exit strategy, and I think those specific properties you can get some really good deals on. And that's what I've been hearing from my clients, is that from previous investors, that's the jackpot. So for an investor to sell right now, may not be the best plan. Not to say that it's a bad plan, right? It depends on what you're doing with your portfolio.
Yeah.
I do think for an investor that's buying, I think that there's lots of opportunity.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And for selling, you're right. That's what I feel too. It's if you definitely desperately need money. Other than that, it's good to hold for a few weeks until seeing how this will turn for a better, for better price on your property, because the market was super strong just before this COVID, and even now it's still strong, but definitely there is a lot less buyers compared to a few weeks ago. We have another question from Perth. what's the seller's mindset right now, and what kind of sellers, investors, or homeowners? That's an interesting question. Probably, I'll take on it, and I want to hear your thoughts as well, Scott. Basically, I'm seeing two different type of sellers. One, some of the investors who have bunch of properties, they wanna liquidate a couple of them just to, if things go in downturn even further worse, now they can buy. So that's why they want to liquidate now rather than waiting for longer. And some of them are homeowners, who've been living in the property for a while. For them, if they're in a situation where they cannot survive, because if they lost, let's say they have a very good income and they purchased a nice property like 500, 600,000. Now, if either they lost their job or they're afraid that they might lose their job, if they lose, they're like $2,000 is not enough for them to float, or maybe they're not confident that even the 6 months deferral is not enough for them to find the property, find a job. So it's kind of a different type of investors. That's a great question, actually. Different type of sellers that are looking to sell. I love to hear your thoughts on that, Scott. That's something interesting question.
Yeah, so in all fairness, I mean, you probably see more of a seller's mindset than what I see, because we just do, the mortgage, so we're not seeing that thought process behind, should I list or should I not list? But I do know that there is fear from all the sellers, is that they don't want to get COVID-19, right? They don't want that to go through. So from that standpoint, I actually was going to ask you about how you're protecting for your listings and things, and what you're doing to protect against them. But I think, so I think the people that do want to sell or that are selling right now, I really believe in my mind that there is motivation and they're active, because most people do not want this into their house. They don't want somebody coming in here who has COVID-19, right? And you really, because some people are just carriers, you don't know. So I think that the people are selling really do want to move. I know they're, again, homeowners or investors, but there's a need to sell that property if it's for sale right now. So this is why I do think it's a great buying opportunity.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. And, that brings to another point that I want to mention, especially if you're thinking of selling, right? This is the point of time where you have to absolutely look at your finances. Hey, is it necessary for me to sell at this point? Because, we're all in together with this uncertain time because of the virus. So that can only stop, if we all are responsible for it. So if you're selling it for no reason, and if you're letting different people to come into your property, that will definitely have chances for spreading the corona. So unless if it's a must, avoid selling or going into properties, walking in just like how we used to do before. But definitely now the technology is helping heavily. Thank God my brokerage is like a cloud brokerage. Now we have technology for everything. So pretty much, even like for sellers or buyers, what I'm doing right now is mostly trying to do it virtually. So virtual showings, virtual listings, doing a virtual tour of the property, and trying to minimize the buyers to walk into the property as much as possible. Even if needed, we are just asking to write an offers first before letting the buyer to see the property. To avoid the spread of corona as much as possible. Yep, and it's already 7:45. I know it's more than what we thought, Scott. Probably we'll give another minute or two for the audience to ask if they have any more questions, or if you wanna share any other things that you think audience would benefit out of it, feel free to, Scott.
For sure. No, so I actually was going to ask you, and I guess you partially answered it, is how do you protect your seller? So if I want to sell a home today, you're saying that you're not allowing access to the property unless there's a signed and accepted offer. And then at that point, you're allowing the showings. Is there any tips or anything that you would have for a seller in addition to those precautions?
Yeah, definitely. So one thing is, like, right now we are using the technology as much as possible. So first thing, if you're listing a property, for sure, we're gonna get virtual tour, video tour, and best photos as much as possible. If it's owner occupied, if it's tenanted, if the tenants allow, if the photographer is comfortable to go in, we will get the virtual photos and videos and everything that a buyer can see from the home. So that's the first option always. And then we'll have either an offer presentation, or we'll ask the buyers to make an offer first. But if the buyer is not comfortable, if it's a must, if they are serious, then we have a form to get their information, to get a declaration from the buyers and the agents, to make sure that they don't have any symptoms, make sure they don't have any anything going with them, any symptoms that can stop spreading. So we are screening it before the buyer gets into the property. Again, trying to minimize as much as possible. If you're doing that, probably the chances are a lot lesser compared to doing multiple showings. And also no more open houses. So no open houses at all, but we are doing virtual open house. Actually, we started doing virtual open houses a year ago. So that now most of them are doing that, so which is pretty cool. Looks like we have a bunch of questions. Maybe if you want to jump on.
Yeah, I'll answer them really quickly here. So first, the appraisals, they're doing drive-bys or FaceTimes. So that can be virtual. For the home inspection, what I might do, or what I might suggest, is have the seller complete the home inspection and then gives it out to the buyers. So then you're not having multiple home inspections done on a property if it doesn't proceed. And then that way, there's less people into the property. So I think that's what I would do with the home inspections. So for Michael's question, fear that the sellers not wanting to have buyers come through, do we think there'll be an influx of listings when COVID dies down? And if so, do you think the prices will drop? I do think there's going to be an influx of listings, and there's going to be an influx of buyers, because I know a whole bunch of buyers are waiting, and I know people are waiting to sell too, because they don't want to sell during COVID-19. So I think the market, this is my opinion only, but I think the market will kind of get back up pretty much right to where it was before this happened, in no time flat, once it's all done.
Yeah, and also I will add another thing to it. Basically, there were so many buyers waiting on the sideline, or waiting because they couldn't get a property under contract, because just few weeks ago there were like 15, 16, 20 offers on one property. That means there are many buyers, they couldn't get their hands on a property. So now if the listings goes up, that means the buyers are ready to buy. Yeah, that's an interesting thing to see how it will turn.
For sure. It's interesting. And then I think we have one more from Angela saying, what's the best advice to give to clients looking to buy or sell during this pandemic? Should we advise them to wait or get into the market sooner? Angela, from my opinion, I think it depends on your buyer and what they need, or your seller. Because some people still need to move, right? You could be living in a house that the landlord is moving into. There could be things wrong with the place and you want to move to a different one. So there's circumstances that require you to move and to sell right now. If it's financial, from a selling standpoint, obviously do it now, like don't wait. But if there's no immediate rush, I know quite a few realtors who are getting their buyer reps signed, and then they're delaying them, like extending them for when this is all done, so you can get out there and start buying or selling.
Yeah, you're right, Scott. It's definitely, you have to ask yourself first, what's my necessity? How badly do I need to sell or buy? And if you're buying, probably, as Scott mentioned, we can mitigate getting into the property as much as possible. Maybe just make offers, conditional offers. Once it's accepted, then even like you don't have to go and see. You can look at all the virtual tours and then let the inspector do. And inspectors, especially because they are professionals, they just protect themselves with all the equipment, and they go do the inspection. And if the sellers give us an inspector report, then that's even awesome. So yeah, definitely ask yourself first. If it's must, then do it with the precautions and work with the right agent. If you're not in Windsor, probably find the right one who is tech heavy at this point. For buying and selling both, you need a techie guys who can understand the technology well, who can utilize it, because at this point, these are the times where we have to avoid or try to minimize the showing in-person showings as much as possible. Even for signing the documents or doing anything, it's good to minimize the in-person meetings as much as possible.
Sure. I do. Yeah.
Yep. Scott, I think there is one last question. We'll take that and we'll sign off. I know you gave me more than what I asked for, so thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Perth was asking, do you still see the bidding wars in Windsor? Yeah, so yes, there are still bidding wars going on. I was working on a property to make an offer for one of my buyers yesterday. Again, definitely a lot lesser compared to previous, and compared to last month. Now they're not getting the price that what they're expecting. But definitely still the bidding wars going on, depending on the property, depending on how they listed the price. So especially if they listed like 80,000 or 100,000 below market value, then obviously there are bidding wars going on. But if they list it for market value, then the bidding wars, then their number of offers are a lot less, or maybe they're not even offers. So that's my take on it. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for hopping on, and thank you so much for all your questions and all your time, because even I learned a lot from Scott. Scott, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me. And yeah, if anybody has any questions, just reply to this thread, and I will, and I'm sure Aditya will.
Yeah, can you put your information where people can reach out, how people can reach out to you?
For sure, I will add that right away.
Yeah, guys, definitely, especially these are the times where you will have to be closely in touch with your mortgage agent and real estate agent to make the wise decisions. So feel free to contact Scott for any questions. And also, if you want me to hop on a call, if you have any questions, personal questions that you want to discuss, I'm always happy to jump on. Scott, thank you so much. Have a good night.
No problem. Thank you. Take care.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much, guys, for hopping on. With that, I will sign off. Stay home. Try to avoid going out as much as possible. Looking forward to helping you guys. Thank you, JJ. And have a wonderful night. Take care. Make sure you give your time, quality time with your family in these times. Hey, thanks, Clark. Take care, guys.